In a quiet village, where life moved slowly and dreams often died young, there lived a girl named Charity. She was an orphan, taken in by a family who only saw her as free labor. Her real parents had died in a fire when she was just 5 years old. Since then, life had never been fair. The people she now called her parents treated her like dirt. They made her sweep the compound before the sun rose, cook for the whole house, fetch water from a distant stream, and scrub the floor until it sparkled. Even when she was tired and hungry, they never cared. They would say, "Are we not doing you a favor by allowing you to live with us?" Their real daughter, Judith, was the opposite of Charity. She was beautiful, proud, and spoiled beyond reason. Judith loved soft things, shiny things, and rich things. She hated house chores and always painted her nails bright colors. She would spend hours in front of the mirror and often said, "One day, I will marry a billionaire and leave this village for good." Judith's parents adored her. They believed she was their golden ticket out of poverty. They often compared her to Charity. "Look at you," Judith's father would say to Charity. "Who would ever want to marry a girl like you? You can't even attract a poor farmer, not to talk of a rich man." Charity would keep quiet, swallowing her pain and hiding her tears. Then one hot afternoon, everything changed. A black jeep drove into their compound, raising dust into the sky. It stopped in front of the house, and out stepped a tall, handsome elderly man, dressed in a fine suit. His name was Mr. Anthony, a man known in the city for his wealth and power. "I came with a special request," he said, sitting comfortably in their living room. "My son is ready to settle down, and we want a respectful, well-mannered wife for him. Someone who will understand him and stand by him." Judith's father's eyes widened. "You want our Judith?" Mr. Anthony smiled. "If you'll allow us. We've heard good things about your family." The man's chest swelled with pride. "Yes, yes. Of course. You don't even need to say more. My daughter is very beautiful. In fact, I will be honored if she marries into your family." Mr. Anthony nodded. "Good. We will come back in 3 days for the introduction ceremony. My son will be with me. Let your daughter be ready." Judith's mother was already dancing. "Ah, God has answered our prayer, a billionaire as son-in-law." As soon as Mr. Anthony left, Judith's father called her. "My daughter," he said proudly, "get ready. In 3 days, you'll be meeting your husband. He is the son of a billionaire. You are lucky. Not like that useless Charity who can't even attract a cripple." Judith giggled. "Daddy, let me at least see him before I say yes. Is he handsome, tall? Does he have broad shoulders?" "There's no need for all that," her father replied. "His father didn't bring any pictures. You will see him on the introduction day. Just know that you're about to marry into money." That night, Judith started dreaming of mansions and private jets. She told herself, "This village life is over. Wait till I become a billionaire's wife. I will never speak to poor people again." Meanwhile, Charity cleaned quietly in the background, her heart heavy with questions. Why didn't the man ask about her? Didn't she also deserve love? The introduction day finally came. Their compound was swept clean. Plastic chairs were arranged under a canopy. Neighbors gathered to watch. Judith wore a beautiful gown, and she had a proud smile on her face. "I hope he's tall," she whispered to her mother, "and I hope he smells like dollars." Soon 2 big SUVs entered the compound and parked. Everyone stood up. Out came Mr. Anthony, looking majestic in a cream-colored agbada. Then the car door opened again. A tall man stepped out, wearing dark sunglasses. He held a white cane and walked slowly, guided by a driver. Judith's smile didn't change. She was still smiling, waiting for her prince. Mr. Anthony cleared his throat and said, "This is my son, Philip. He is the one that want to marry Judith." The crowd clapped politely. Then Mr. Anthony added, "I am sorry I didn't tell you people about his condition earlier. I felt it wasn't necessary." The smile on Judith's face disappeared like smoke. She turned slowly to look at Philip, her mouth dropped open. "What?" she shouted. "Blind? You mean he's blind?" Everyone went silent. Her father whispered, "Judith, please calm down." But Judith jumped up in anger. "No, never. I can't marry a blind man. Why didn't you tell us he was blind? This is not fair." Mr. Anthony looked embarrassed. "Judith, my dear, he may not see, but he is kind, wise, and rich. He will take good care of you. Judith hissed loudly. "Take care of me with what eyes? I'm too beautiful for this. How can I marry someone who can't even see my beauty?" Philip stepped forward, his voice soft. "Please, Judith. I love you. Don't do this to me. Please." Judith laughed bitterly. "Love? How can you love me when you've never even seen me? No, I'm not doing this. Never." The compound was quiet. Everyone was shocked. Charity stood in the background, heart beating fast, staring at Philip. The mood in the compound changed completely. Laughter and clapping stopped. People who had come to celebrate were now whispering and shaking their heads. Judith stood with her arms folded, angry and proud. Her father was fuming. Mr. Anthony and Philip walked back to their car, embarrassed and disappointed. Judith's father followed them to the gate, trying to beg. "Please, sir, let's talk. This is just small misunderstanding." But Mr. Anthony didn't smile. He opened the car door, and as he entered, he said coldly, "We will talk later." They drove off slowly, leaving behind a heavy silence and an angry father. As soon as they were gone, Judith's father turned to her. His face was red with rage. "You must marry that blind man," he shouted. "Do you know how much money I've collected from them already? I will not return it. Never." Judith rolled her eyes. "Then why didn't you tell me he was blind before they came? You wanted to use me to collect money without telling me the full story." "That's not your business," he barked. "You are my daughter, and you will marry whoever I say." Judith looked away and hissed. "Then why don't you tell that useless girl to marry him?" "Which girl?" her father asked, confused. "Charity," she snapped. "The orphan. She is of no use here. At least let her bring something useful to this family for once." Her father paused. His eyes widened as the idea hit him like lightning. "That's true. That's a very good idea." "Wow, Judith, you are smarto." He rubbed his chin and started pacing. "She's not really my daughter, so if anything happens, nobody will ask me questions." "Yes, that girl will marry the blind billionaire." Judith laughed and sat down. "Let him accept her. After all, he is blind. He has no choice." Without wasting time, her father rushed inside and grabbed his phone. He called Mr. Anthony, who was still in the car with his son on the way home. "Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Please, I'm truly sorry for what happened. It's just shock. You know how young girls behave." Mr. Anthony was silent. Judith's father continued, "But I have another daughter." Yes. Her name is Charity. She's very humble, quiet, and hard-working. She's not like Judith at all. If your son doesn't mind, she can marry him instead." There was a long pause. Then Mr. Anthony replied, "Let us get home first. I'll discuss it with my son." The call ended. Judith's father smiled in victory and walked back to the sitting room. He pointed at Judith. "You better pray your blind billionaire agrees to marry that foolish girl. If not, this house will not contain us." Judith scoffed. "He'll agree. What other choice does he have? He can't even see her face. He's blind. She can wear a monkey's mask and he won't know." They both burst into laughter, but in a small corner of the house, Charity stood with tears in her eyes. She had heard everything. Her hands shook. "Marry a man I don't know? A blind man?" She leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Life had always been unfair, but now it seemed she was about to be forced into something even worse. Meanwhile, in the moving car, Philip sat quietly beside his father. He finally spoke. "I heard everything, Dad." Mr. Anthony looked at him. "I'm sorry I didn't tell them about your eyes." "It's okay," Philip said, "but that girl, Judith, she's not the one. She doesn't even know what love is." Anthony sighed. Her father said he has another daughter, Charity, humble and quiet. "What do you think?" Philip looked straight ahead and said nothing for a few seconds. Then slowly, a small smile appeared on his face. "Let's meet her." The next day, Mr. Anthony and Philip returned to the village. This time, they didn't come with music or dancing. They came quietly, without the noise and show. Charity was outside, washing clothes beside a small drum of water. Her fingers were numb from the cold water, and her back ached from bending too long. She didn't know the black SUVs had arrived until her foster mother shouted, "Charity, where are you? Come here this instant." She quickly dried her hands and ran to the front of the house. Her feet slowed as she saw the same man, tall, quiet, and dressed in black, standing beside Mr. Anthony. It was Philip. Charity looked down. She had never felt so unsure in her life. Mr. Anthony stepped forward. "We've come to see your daughter, Charity." Judith's father, trying to act like a good man, smiled. "Yes, yes, Charity is ready. She's respectful, hard-working, and humble. You'll like her." "Good," Mr. Anthony said. "We want to take her with us today." The moment was fast. Nobody asked Charity what she wanted. No one gave her a choice. Her small nylon bag was packed in minutes, and just like that, she was told to enter the car and follow the strangers. Back inside the house, Judith and her mother stood near the window, hiding behind the curtain. They had been listening the whole time. Judith's mother sneered. "Finally, that ugly thing is gone. Look at her. Rubbish girl. Let her go and marry that smelly blind man." Judith laughed. "Wife of a blind man? What a life!" They both laughed loudly, not knowing that their laughter would not last long. The city looked like another world. Tall glass buildings reached into the sky. Cars zoomed past without a single bump in the road. Philip's mansion stood like a palace. The floors sparkled, the lights never flickered, and there was food she had never even smelled before. But in all this beauty, Charity felt small. She stayed quiet. She barely spoke. She kept to herself and only came out when necessary. She ate alone, sat alone, and walked like a stranger in her own shadow. Philip noticed. 3 days after they arrived, he called her to the garden behind the house. He sat on a wooden bench and asked her to sit beside him. She obeyed silently. He turned his head to her. "Charity, why you dislike me?" She looked down. "Is it because I'm blind?" Her eyes widened. "No, never. I would never hate someone because of that. I could never hate anyone God created." "Then what is it?" he asked gently. She was quiet for a long moment before saying, "It's everything. How it all happened. I didn't choose this. Nobody asked me. And now I'm here, with someone I don't know. You've been kind to me. But I feel like a stranger." Philip nodded slowly. "I understand, and you have every right to feel that way. But maybe if I tell you my story, you'll see things differently." She looked at him curious. He took a deep breath. "I wasn't born blind. I could see, run, dance, and do everything. I was like every other rich young man, driving fast cars, attending parties, showing off. I thought I had it all: money, friends, even fake love." He paused, his voice low. "But one night I was driving home from a party. I was drunk, foolish, full of pride. I lost control of the car and hit a tree. I woke up in the hospital, and the world was dark. My eyes were gone." Charity gasped softly, covering her mouth. "I thought my life was over," Philip continued. "The girl I loved left me. Friends disappeared. Everyone that used to praise me disappeared like smoke. I was alone." Tears ran down Charity's cheeks now. "I fell into deep sadness," he said, "but my father stood by me. He said, 'If you can't find light, be the light.'" Charity sat in silence as Philip told his story. She listened to every word. Though her heart was still unsure, she didn't speak. She didn't know what to say. She didn't know how to feel. But for the first time, someone had opened up to her. Not shouting, not insulting, not controlling. Just speaking softly, honestly. After that day, things slowly began to change. Philip never rushed her. He gave her space. He would call her to sit with him in the garden, where the breeze was gentle and flowers danced in the wind. Sometimes they just sat quietly. Other times he would talk about little things: how the roses were planted, how the sun felt on his skin, how the birds sang early in the morning. Charity started to smile more. She no longer hid in her room all day. She began helping in the kitchen. She started greeting the guards and maids with a warm, "Good morning." She laughed once or twice, then again, and again. Philip noticed. He felt her heart opening, slowly, like a flower that had been buried in darkness for too long. One evening, about a month later, as they sat in the garden under the stars, Philip asked gently, "How are you feeling now?" Charity looked at him. "Better, much better." He smiled. "That makes me happy." She looked down and whispered, "You've been kind to me." "You deserve kindness," he replied. "You deserve peace." There was a pause, then she said softly, You're different. I don't know how or why, but I feel safe with you. It's strange. I never thought I'd say this, but I think I'm beginning to love you." Philip's heart skipped. He wanted to jump, to dance, to shout. But he stayed calm. He simply held her hand and whispered, "Thank you." That night he didn't sleep. He stayed awake in his room, lying on the bed with his hands behind his head. "She's beginning to love me." He thought about it over and over again. But she doesn't know the full truth. He stood up, walked slowly to the window, and looked outside. The moon was bright. His heart was heavy. I must tell her. She deserves to know. The next morning, he asked Charity to walk with him to the small private garden behind the mansion. It was quiet, peaceful. No one else was there. They sat on a stone bench. Philip took a deep breath. "Charity." "Yes?" she replied, looking at him with gentle eyes. "There's something I must tell you," he said. She blinked. "What is it?" "I've kept it from you for weeks. I didn't mean to lie, but I had to be sure of something." She became still. "You're scaring me." He slowly removed his sunglasses. Charity stared, then he opened his eyes, clear, bright, alive. She gasped and stepped back. "Your eyes. You can see?" Philip nodded. She stood up. "All this time. You were never blind." "I was," he said quickly, "but I recovered. I kept it a secret, because I didn't want people to love me for my money or for my face. I wanted someone to love me for me." Charity's hands were shaking. "I don't understand," she said. "Why me? Why hide it?" "Because," he said, standing up slowly, "the day I heard your voice, the way you treated me with quiet respect, I knew you were different, but I had to be sure. I had to know if your heart would accept me as I am. Not the man with money, not the man with sight, but the man who was broken." Charity turned away, confused, angry, and hurt all at once. "You lied to me," she whispered. "I know," Philip said, "and I'm sorry. I just wanted to protect my heart." Tears rolled down her cheeks. Philip moved closer. "But now, I want to give you my truth, all of it. I'm not asking you to forgive me today. I'm only asking you, please don't walk away." She didn't answer. Instead, she sat back down and covered her face with her hands. Philip sat beside her in silence. Minutes passed, then she spoke softly. "You really hurt me." "I know," he said, "but I've also never felt peace like this before," she added, her voice trembling. He turned to her slowly. She wiped her tears and looked into his eyes. "You didn't just protect your heart. You protected mine too, even if I didn't know it." Philip reached out, gently holding her hand. "Does that mean you forgive me?" Charity looked at him long and hard, then she nodded slowly. "Yes, I forgive you." Philip's heart swelled, but then she added, "But next time, tell me everything. Love does not hide." He smiled. "You have my word." And in that quiet garden, under the early morning sun, two broken hearts began to truly heal. Meanwhile, back in the village, the streets were hot with gossip. It all started when a woman who had traveled to the city returned with shocking news. She had visited a relative who worked as a cleaner in one of the biggest mansions in town, Philip's mansion. When she returned, she couldn't hold her tongue. She sat at the local pepper soup joint and said loudly, "Philip, that billionaire who came for Judith, that man is not blind. He can see." Everyone turned to look at her. "Are you sure?" "I'm telling you what I saw with my eyes," she shouted. "He was walking around, greeting people, even driving a car. They said he was never blind, he only pretended." By evening the whole village had heard, but the news hit hardest when it got to Judith. She was lying on her bed, staring at the ceiling, when her friend, Rita, rushed into the room without knocking. "Judith! Judith!" Judith sat up. "What is it? Why are you shouting like that?" Rita closed the door and whispered like she was carrying a secret from heaven. "Judith, it's about Philip." Judith's eyes sharpened. "What about him?" Rita looked left and right, then leaned closer. "They said he can see. He's not blind." Judith blinked. "What?" "It's true. Everyone is talking. He was pretending. It was all a test." Judith stood up slowly, her legs shaking. "You mean, all this while, he could see?" Rita nodded fast. Yes. They said he walks, talks, drives, everything, as if nothing ever happened. I just came from the market. That's the only thing people are talking about. Judith couldn't believe her ears. Her face turned pale. Her breathing changed. She grabbed her head. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just then her mother walked in. What's going on here? Judith turned to her. Mama. Philip is not blind. He can see. Her mother shouted, Blood of Jesus. Judith began to cry. Mama, I rejected a billionaire. I called him blind and useless. And now everyone is laughing at me. Her mother rushed to her side. No, no, no. We can't allow this. That man must come back to us. We must fix this. We can't lose such a blessing. Judith wiped her tears. But how? He hates me. Her mother lowered her voice. Apologize. Cry if you must. Call him. Say you are confused. Tell him you miss him. If you want to win this battle, you must fight smart. Judith picked up her phone and dialed Philip's number. It rang. He answered. Hello? Philip, she said gently. It's me, Judith. Please don't hang up. Silence. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. That day, I didn't mean the things I said. I was confused. I didn't know how to handle the shock. But I miss you. And I still care. More silence. Then Philip's voice came, cold and strong. You miss my money. Please, no. You didn't care when I needed someone most, he said. You only want to come back now that you've seen the truth. Judith, you're not sorry. You're greedy. Philip, please. You mocked me in front of your family and neighbors. You wanted to be the wife of a billionaire, but not a blind man. Now that you know I can see, you want to reap what you didn't sow? Judith held back tears. Please don't say that. You're a gold digger, he said without pity, and I don't want anything to do with you. Stay away from me. And with that, he ended the call. Judith stared at her phone in disbelief. Her hands trembled. Tears flowed. Her mother came closer. What did he say? Judith whispered. He called me a gold digger. He told me to stay away. Her mother's eyes darkened. He did what? After all we've done. This is war. We're not going to sit and fold our arms. We will do everything in our power to get him back. Everything. That orphan girl thinks she has won, but she doesn't know who she's dealing with. Her mother stepped closer. It's time to fight for what's ours. Judith wiped her tears slowly. That's the sprit, Mummy. We are not letting that dirty orphan win, she said coldly. Never. And just like that, mother and daughter began their plan. A dangerous plan to fight back. Judith and her mother couldn't sleep that night. They sat in the living room, their faces hard, their hearts full of jealousy and rage. We cannot let that girl win, Judith said through clenched teeth. She stole my life. That was my place beside Philip, not hers. Her mother leaned forward. Then we must take it back. And this time, no more begging. We will use something stronger. Judith looked at her with wide eyes. What do you mean? I know someone, her mother whispered. A native doctor. Powerful, very powerful. We will go to him. Early the next morning, they dressed quietly and left the house. They took a long bike ride into the thick forest outside the village. There, hidden deep under tall trees and behind old mud walls, lived the native doctor. His eyes were red like fire, and his voice was like wind whistling through a graveyard. He looked at them and laughed. Ah, two women with heavy hearts. What do you want? Judith's mother spoke first. There's a man. A rich man. My daughter was supposed to marry him, but now he's with another girl. We want him back. By force. The native doctor smiled. That is easy. I have something strong. Just a pinch of this in his food, and once he eats it, he will be yours forever. His heart will beat for you and only you. His eyes will not see any other woman but you. Judith's heart raced with excitement, but then the man's face became serious. However, he said slowly, there are consequences. Judith and her mother exchanged glances. What kind of consequences? Her mother asked. The native doctor waved his hand. That, I cannot say for now, but be warned. Power comes with a price, always. Without thinking, Judith said, I don't care. I just want Philip to be mine. Her mother added, give it to us. He brought out a small black leather pouch and handed it to them. Use only a pinch, he warned. Too much, and the charm will turn against you. They nodded quickly and left. Back home, they sat on the bed, staring at the pouch. Judith frowned. Mama, how will I even put this in his food? He doesn't talk to me. He doesn't even want to see me. Her mother smiled wickedly. Then go through the girl, Charity. You know she has a soft heart. Just call her, cry, beg, pretend. Tell her you are sorry. Tell her you want to make peace. Judith's eyes lit up. Mama, you're a genius. Her mother laughed. When you win, remember who gave you the idea. Judith picked up her phone. She dialed with trembling hands and fake tears. The phone rang once, twice. Charity picked up, her voice calm. Hello? Judith immediately began crying. Charity, please don't hang up. Charity paused. Judith, how did you get my number? That's not important right now, Judith cried louder. Please, I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything I did to you. I've been restless. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Please forgive me. Charity was quiet for a moment. Then she asked softly, Why now? I just realized how wicked I was, Judith sobbed. You didn't deserve it. Nobody deserves what I did to you. You are kind. You are a good person. Please don't let my evil win. Charity sighed. Her heart was tender. She had been hurt by Judith, but she was a child of God. She didn't believe in holding grudges. Judith, she said gently, I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because of the God I serve. Judith wiped her fake tears quickly and smiled. Thank you. Thank you so much. Charity, you don't know the weight you just lifted from my heart. There was silence again. Then Judith added sweetly, I would like to come to the city, to visit you, just to see you, talk with you face to face, and truly make peace. Please, say yes. Charity was surprised. You want to visit? Yes, I want to see you. I want to start again. Charity thought for a moment. Let me talk to my husband first. If he agrees, I'll call you back. Okay, Judith said quickly. Thank you so much. God bless you. As soon as the call ended, Judith's face changed. The tears dried, the fake sobs stopped. She dropped the phone on the bed and began to laugh wickedly. Her mother joined her. This is only the beginning, her mother said, holding the charm pouch. Let's see how long she can keep what doesn't belong to her. That night, after dinner, Charity sat quietly beside her husband in their cozy bedroom. Philip was reading something on his phone, his face serious. Charity kept stealing glances at him, her fingers playing with the hem of her nightgown. My love, she said gently. Yes, Philip replied without looking up. There's something I want to talk to you about. Philip looked at her. What is it? Charity took a deep breath. It's about Judith. Immediately, Philip's face changed. He dropped his phone on the bedside table and sat up. What about her? She called me today, Charity said. She was crying. She said she really wants to make peace. Philip frowned. Charity, I already told you, I don't trust that girl. I know, Charity said softly, but the way she sounded on the phone, the pain in her voice, I believed her. Philip shook his head. That girl is a snake. She only comes close when there's something to gain. But people change, Charity replied. I've seen people do worse and still change. Maybe this is her time. Maybe God is working on her. Philip walked toward the window. I'm just protecting you, Charity. I don't want her to come here and bring problems into our home. I understand, she said, walking over and gently placing her hand on his back. But this is just a visit, only a few days, and she'll go back to the village. He didn't speak. Charity walked around to face him and held his hands. Please, my love, let's give her a second chance. Not for her, but for me. I want peace. Let's just see if she truly means what she says. Philip looked into her eyes. Her heart was pure, her voice full of love. He couldn't say no to her. Just 3 days, he said slowly, and once those 3 days are over, she's out. No arguments. Charity smiled and hugged him tight. Thank you, my king. 2 days later, the gates of Philip's mansion opened as a taxi pulled in. Judith stepped out slowly, wearing a long red dress and shiny heels. Her makeup was perfect, and her bag matched her shoes. But it wasn't her beauty that shone. It was the greed in her eyes. She stood in front of the house and stared at it, with her mouth slightly open. The building was tall and bright, with flowers everywhere. The windows sparkled, and everything smelled like wealth and power. She whispered to herself, "This will soon be mine." Soon. A guard opened the door and welcomed her inside. Judith walked slowly through the living room, her eyes scanning every corner. Golden curtains, soft couches, a grand piano, and a chandelier that looked like it came from heaven. She smiled with pride. So this is how that useless orphan has been living. In my palace, never. Charity rushed in, smiling warmly. "Judith, welcome. I'm so glad you came." Judith quickly wiped her proud smile and acted humble. "Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I don't deserve this kindness." Charity hugged her. "You're here now, and that's what matters." Philip walked in, dressed in a simple black t-shirt and jeans. He looked at Judith with cold, watchful eyes. Judith lowered her gaze and said quietly, "Good evening, sir." Philip nodded once. "Welcome." "Thank you," she replied quickly, then looked away. Charity guided her to the guest room and helped her unpack. Later that evening, they all sat at the dining table for dinner. Charity did most of the talking, while Philip remained silent, only watching. Judith laughed softly at everything Charity said, acting sweet and gentle, but inside her heart she was boiling. She looked at the way Philip gently helped Charity sit, the way he touched her hand, the way he looked at her with love. It hurt her. Not because she missed Philip, but because she wanted what Charity had: the life, the man, the glory. After dinner, Charity gave Judith a tour of the house. They walked through the upstairs balcony, the private study, the garden, and finally the kitchen. Judith looked at the wide kitchen with its smooth counters and shiny fridge. She whispered again, "All this will soon be mine." Charity didn't hear her. That night, as they lay in bed in separate rooms, two very different hearts beat. Charity prayed softly, "Lord, please bless my home, and help Judith truly find peace." But in the guest room, Judith sat by the window holding the charm her mother gave her, her face hard and full of hunger. She opened the pouch slightly and stared at the dark powder. "Just one pinch in his food," she whispered, "and he will be mine forever." She looked at the door and smiled. "Tomorrow. I make my move." The next morning, sunlight filled the mansion as birds sang softly in the garden. Charity was already in the kitchen, humming a worship song as she cut vegetables. She felt peaceful. Her heart was light. Everything felt right. Judith stood at the corner of the hallway peeking. She watched as Charity moved about the kitchen with ease and joy. "Foolish girl," she thought, "you don't even know your time is up." She walked into the kitchen with a fake smile. "Good morning, Charity," she said cheerfully. Charity turned with a smile. "Good morning. You're up early." "Yes," Judith replied sweetly. "I couldn't sleep. I had a deep dream last night. It made me realize even more how lucky I am that you forgave me." Charity smiled warmly. "God is the one who gives grace to forgive. Come, help me arrange the plates." Judith quickly moved close and began helping. As Charity went to wash the rice, Judith's heart started racing. "This is my chance," she thought. She glanced at the living room. Philip wasn't there yet. She looked around quickly, then reached into her bra and pulled out the small charm pouch. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Just one pinch. "Let this be fast," she whispered, reaching toward the pot of stew on the counter. But just as she was about to drop it in, footsteps. Philip. He walked in, yawning slightly, stretching his arms. Judith's heart jumped. She quickly threw the charm behind the gas cylinder and pretended to be wiping the counter. Charity looked up. "My love, you're awake. Come, let me serve your food." Philip walked to the table and sat down. Judith's heart was pounding like a drum. "Too close, that was too close," she thought, "but I'll try again." As Charity served the food, Philip's eyes slowly moved to Judith. Something about her made him uneasy. Her smile was too sweet, her voice too calm. It felt fake. When Charity stepped out to get a bottle of water, Philip leaned back and said quietly, I don't know what game you're playing, but don't try anything stupid in my house. Judith froze for a second, then quickly smiled. I'm not playing any game. I'm just trying to fix things. Philip looked her straight in the eye. Let me warn you, I see more than you think. Charity returned with the water, and the moment passed. Judith sat in silence during breakfast. Her plan had almost failed. She had to be smarter. Later that day, while Charity was on a video call in the living room, Judith sneaked back into the kitchen. She found the charm where she had hidden it behind the gas. She smiled, then she noticed the next meal, a fresh pot of jollof rice already cooking on the stove. It was meant for dinner. This one won't miss, she whispered. She moved quickly, opened the charm pouch, and sprinkled a pinch into the rice. Then she stirred it with a clean spoon and closed the pot gently. She cleaned her hands and walked out of the kitchen, humming as if she had no care in the world. Charity, she said sweetly, I'll help you set the table for dinner tonight. Charity smiled. You're too kind, Judith. Thank you, too kind, Judith thought. You have no idea. That night, as the aroma of jollof rice filled the mansion, Judith's heart beat faster. Philip came down the stairs smelling the food. Wow, something smells delicious. Charity smiled. I made it with love. Judith helped too. Philip looked at Judith again. She smiled gently, but his spirit still felt uneasy. They sat at the table. The rice was served. Philip picked up his spoon. Judith watched. He brought the spoon close to his mouth. Charity smiled beside him. Judith held her breath. He ate, one spoon, then another. Judith waited, watching his face, his eyes. Anything, nothing. He continued eating normally. It worked, she said to herself. She smiled. Soon he will love me. He will forget her. He will come to me. But what she didn't know was that Philip had noticed something strange earlier. He had seen her enter the kitchen alone. He had watched her from upstairs, and right before dinner he had asked the housemaid to secretly remove the rice from the pot and make a fresh one. Same taste, same look. The one she cooked was thrown away, and what he ate was clean. Judith had no idea. She believed her charm had entered his body. She believed victory was near. So that night, as she lay in her guest bed, smiling at the ceiling, she whispered, "He's mine now." Finally. But little did she know, the trap she had set was the one she was walking into. 2 days passed. Morning came, afternoon passed, night returned. But nothing changed. Philip was still himself, calm, loving, wise. There was no sign that the charm had worked. Judith waited. She watched him closely. She looked into his eyes every time he walked past. But he still ignored her. He still held Charity's hand. He still looked at her with love. Judith was burning inside. She sat on the edge of her bed that night, gripping her hair. Why is nothing happening? He ate the rice. The charm was there. Why isn't he acting like he loves me? She paced the room, her eyes red with frustration. No, I can't wait anymore. I will finish this today. I'll pour everything. He must love me by force. She grabbed the charm pouch from her bag. It was almost empty now. Just one last heavy pinch remained. She didn't care. That native doctor warned me. He said don't use everything. But who is he to stop me? What does he know? She walked into the kitchen the next morning, pretending as usual. Charity was upstairs preparing for her morning prayer. Philip was getting ready for work. Judith quickly poured the charm, all of it, into a small plate of breakfast meant only for Philip. Yam and egg sauce. She stirred it well. This one will not miss, she said to herself. Today this man will bow before me. He will beg for my love. She placed the food carefully on the table. But what she didn't know. Upstairs, in the quiet of the master bedroom, fire had already started falling. Charity was on her knees, her hands lifted high, her voice loud and heavy with power. Lord, I don't know what the enemy is planning, but I stand on your word and I cancel every plan of darkness. I cover this house with the blood of Jesus. Her voice grew louder. I silence every witch, every power of the enemy, every strange woman trying to destroy what you gave me. Let fire fall, Lord. Let the wicked be exposed. Tears flowed from her eyes. Any food cooked with evil intention will not enter my husband's body. Holy Ghost, take over." Suddenly the air in the room shifted. Angels filled the space. Winds began to blow from nowhere. Charity's voice became like thunder. Downstairs, Judith was still smiling. She poured juice into a glass and placed it beside the poisoned food. Then, a sharp force like lightning hit Judith's head. She screamed. She dropped the glass and fell to the floor. She grabbed her head with both hands and screamed louder. "Fire! Fire! My head! My head is burning!" She rolled on the floor, screaming, kicking chairs and crying loudly. Charity, hearing the noise, ran downstairs. She stopped in shock. "Jesus!" Philip rushed down from their room, fully dressed for work. "What's going on?" Judith was still screaming. She stood up suddenly and pointed at Philip. "I did it! I did it! I put charm in your food. I wanted you to leave her. I wanted you to love me." She screamed again and tore her dress. Her hair scattered wildly. She began laughing and crying at the same time. "I poured everything. I poured it all. The native doctor warned me, but I didn't care. I wanted to take him. I wanted this house. I wanted this life." Charity fell to her knees, covering her mouth. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Oh God." Philip's face was red with anger. He looked at Charity with sharp eyes. "I warned you, babe," he said quietly. "I told you this girl was a devil. I told you not to trust her." Charity was trembling now. "I'm sorry. I didn't know it would go this far. I thought she had changed." Judith suddenly screamed again and ran outside, barefoot, into the street. "Fire! Fire! I'm burning! Don't touch me! He is mine! Give him to me!" People on the street stopped to look. They screamed in shock. "Is that not Judith? What happened to her?" She ran mad, pulling her hair, rolling on the ground, shouting strange things. Back in the mansion, Philip sat down slowly. Charity walked over and knelt in front of him. "I'm sorry," she said, crying. "I was wrong. I let pity blind me. Please forgive me." Philip lifted her up gently. "I forgive you," he said softly. "But next time, protect your heart. Not everyone deserves your kindness." Charity nodded, wiping her tears. They held each other tight, and in that moment they both knew. Love was powerful. But God was stronger, and the enemy had been defeated. Back in the village, the news spread like wildfire. "Judith has run mad." She was shouting on the streets, confessing everything. "She tried to charm the billionaire. It backfired." Judith's mother was sitting outside when she heard it. A neighbor rushed to her, panting, "Mama Judith, come and hear. Your daughter, she ran mad in the city. They said she poured charm in Philip's food and—" The woman didn't finish the sentence before Judith's mother jumped up. "Lies, lies. My daughter cannot go mad. Philip has used her for rituals. That boy is evil. I knew it." She stormed inside the house. "They think I'll keep quiet. Never. They want to kill my daughter." Her husband, who had been quiet all morning, came out from the bedroom. "Where are you going, woman?" she hissed. "To the native doctor, of course. I must deal with that man. He gave her nonsense. Fake charm. Now my daughter is mad." Her husband raised his hand to stop her. "Woman, enough is enough." She stopped and turned. "What did you say?" "I said enough," he shouted. "Look at what your wickedness has caused. I never liked Charity, but this time I'm done hating her. She did nothing to us. It was your daughter and your evil advice that caused all this." She blinked in shock. "You pushed that girl into witchcraft. You told her to lie, to pretend, to destroy another woman's marriage. And now you're blaming others. Are you supporting strangers over your own blood?" she shouted. "I'm speaking the truth," he said. "And let me tell you, Judith deserves whatever she got. That madness is small compared to what she did." Her eyes widened. "So you're against me now?" "I'm against evil," he shouted and stormed out of the house. Breathing heavily, she picked her bag and headed into the forest to find the native doctor. The road was quiet. The wind blew slowly through the trees. She arrived, pushed the gate open and marched in. The native doctor sat on the ground, burning herbs and whispering into a clay pot. She didn't greet him. She didn't kneel. She pointed at him with a shaky hand. "You wicked old fool," she shouted. "You gave my daughter fake charm. Now she's mad. Useless man. Stupid, dirty old man." The native doctor didn't move. He only looked up at her with calm, deep eyes. "Woman," he said in a low voice, "control your tongue." She laughed and clapped. "You have failed. My daughter was supposed to marry a billionaire, now she's in the street tearing her clothes." "Fool, your juju is fake." "I warned you not to use too much," the man said calmly, "but you were greedy. You and your daughter wanted to steal what was not yours." "Shut up," she screamed. "You're a disgrace, useless old man with cowtail and chalk. I will report you to the whole village." The native doctor stood slowly, his eyes now glowing red. "I told you to stop insulting me." "I'm not afraid of you, idiot," she shouted again. Suddenly the wind howled loudly, leaves flew in circles, the sky darkened above the trees, and in one flash, thunder! A loud cry followed. Judith's mother dropped her bag and fell to the ground, screaming, "My head! My head! Fire is burning me!" She rolled on the dirt, pulling her wrapper. "Don't touch me! Snakes! Snakes are everywhere! They're biting me!" The native doctor sat back down calmly. "Let her go," he said to the spirits. "Her reward has come." She jumped up and ran back toward the village, screaming, "Fire! Fire! Philip, forgive me! Charity, forgive me! I didn't know!" People gathered on the road as she entered the village mad, just like her daughter. She ran barefooted, hair flying, eyes wide open. "Forgive me! Please, forgive me!" The villagers watched in shock. Is that not Judith's mother? She too has gone mad. Wickedness never pays. And just like that, the evil that started with a simple lie ended in destruction. Charity and Philip were safe, covered by prayers, surrounded by peace, and protected by God Himself. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.